I tell my son is a singer. He's in his early 20s. I tell him, be kind, man. Be kind. Mm-hmm. Be kind. Respect others, but be assertive.
Yeah.
Be assertive. Create boundaries. Mm-hmm. Don't let people cross those boundaries, and don't you ever let anybody dim the shine that is you.
You are the one. Tap into the knowledge and the whole world is crazy.
Peace, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Aware Convos, presented by the Aware brand, where streetwear and self-awareness meet. This is a conversation series where we tap in with other dope aware humans who are movers and shakers, innovators in their respective fields, and we would get into their self-awareness journey and see how they became successful. We here in the D, man.
In Detroit, man. Detroit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, we got a legend, a rap legend, a philanthropist, you know what I'm saying?
This guy runs Detroit.
You know, man, we got my man Royce to 5
Yes, sir.
in the building, man.
Appreciate you, big bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you for allowing us to come to your space, man, and, you know, really get to talk to you about self-awareness and your journey, man.
You kidding me, man? Anytime, man. Thank you guys for coming, man. I
Appreciate it.
I get bored in here, man. Just being in here all the time, being an old man, just being loud music.
Yeah.
I need y'all young and vibrant. Y'all come through and give me an idea of, you know, what the culture is doing.
And that's what we're talking about today, man. Culture, man, and what awareness means in our culture. You know what I'm saying? And for somebody like yourself who been shedding light on that, man. So we definitely want to get into that, man. So I'm gonna let Rich lead the convo.
Yeah. So, you know, we all know you for like the raps and the bars and everything, right? But how would you describe yourself? Like, who is Royce to Royce?
I'm a very multi-layered, confusing, hard to figure out, easy guy to get. You know what I mean? Like I'm just constantly trying to evolve. You know what I mean? But the more comfortable I become with not always doing things the proper way, and being okay with making mistakes still, and being okay with people not liking something, or, you know, like people not approving of something that I've done, and realizing that I'm not an employee of the people, and having somewhat of a control over the narrative that is me, and everything that I'm doing, and the decisions that I'm making, and feeling like that I'm making sound decisions, and I'm not, I call it getting pushed around by the universe. I'm not just doing shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything is purposeful.
Yeah.
Everything is with some sort of something that's tied to something here. As long as I can do that every day, and I mean everything in life, as long as I can do that, man, like I feel like I can be the most simple person in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like, sometimes I get in my own head with that, and I start trying to explain myself, and I find myself over explaining sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's just fun, kind of like policing myself. You know, going back, it could be something as minute as an Instagram post. Just go back maybe 2 months later and look at it retroactively and just be like, I ain't like the way that part felt. Or like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. All right, if I ever touch on something like this again, I'll make sure to leave that out and leave this. You know, because it's always something to improve upon.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you never just got anything mastered like that. You can become extremely good at something, but you can also just lose that shit like that. You know what I mean? So that's the confusing part. You know what I mean? When you start breaking down like all the layers and all of the different ways that you can push yourself. You know what I mean? But just when it comes down just to on a macro level, just who we are as people. I'm the simplest guy in the world. You know what I mean? I try to keep it super simple. Super simple. We confuse shit way too much, especially as artists and as quote unquote celebrities. I know people who are prisoners to their own celebrity.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because they choose to subscribe to things. You know what I mean? That's when it gets confusing, I think, when you start subscribing to social constructs and things, you know, like when the measuring stick starts to become something that somebody else created, you know, for you to live up to. You know, that's where the anxiety comes from. That's where the people pleasing comes from. That's when that's when all of the worst characteristics about yourself, the predisposition of being an addict, all of that stuff, all of that shit gets drawn into that. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like how it happened for me. You know what I mean? So
I just hear like everything that you're saying. I hear like self-awareness, right? Like you're very intentional, right, about how you move. Like you're not trying to be pushed around by the universe, right? So you're very intentional. So do you have like because you're very self-aware, like do you have a working definition or like a continuous way that you think about self-awareness?
Do I have like a definition for it or just the way that I think about it? I don't know if I think about it as much as I just, ever since I've been going to therapy, I made it a thing to, if ever I'm thinking about something involving my feelings, I try to just get it out of my body. Like I try to articulate it, you know what I mean? And I try to, the older I get, I try to become better at articulating how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I want people to, if I'm explaining to you exactly how I feel when I'm done talking to you, I want you to know exactly how I feel. If that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
Because that's very difficult to do.
100%, especially
Very
for men.
difficult. Very difficult to do.
Yeah.
You know, like opening up is one that's one conversation. And then being vulnerable, that's another conversation. And then just having the courage to just express, you know what I mean? Because I think somewhere along the line, growing up, between all of the hyper masculine shit and just the environments, the aggressive environments, I think we expressing ourselves started to, those types of feelings and that type of way of communicating started to correlate to opening yourself up to be vulnerable to something or to conform to something or to be in some sort of compromised position where you gotta like express something, you know what I mean? Or it's something. It's something, because I know a wall used to automatically go up whenever it came time for me to express like anything, you know. Anything.
I would say like express things that are like that make you look like vulnerable. You know what I mean? Because like we talk to express anger. You know what I mean? Like that's cool. You can do that all day. But when you talk about like, yo, you hurt my feelings, or I ain't like how you said this, or you know what I mean? Like we're taught to like not say that.
It looks soft.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, when it comes to because when it comes to that part of it, that's the part where we're not getting taught how to express those feelings.
Yes, sir.
We get taught how to express all of the ratchet shit. You know what I mean? Like all we do is we just repeat the most toxic motherfucker that's around that we think is the coolest. We mimic them. But when it comes down to expressing, you know, your feelings on the opposite side of the spectrum, you know what I mean? Which is actually getting somewhere. When it comes down to that, that's when we get told when we're not doing it right. But we don't get told, we don't get taught how to do it. So that's like we're under the most scrutiny going in that direction. So if any time we can just stay away from that, we'll opt to do that.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, you talked about going to therapy, and I know you have the Montgomery Foundation. What like inspired you to start this foundation? And for those who may not know, let them know what exactly the foundation's about.
Montgomery Foundation is just I wanted to start something that a foundation that I can use. It can be my charity, and I can do many things through it. You know, like I didn't want it to even have like a one sheet that can sum it up, because you know it's so many different areas that we need help. You know, like the environments that we come from. If you can somehow get lucky enough to be of the whatever percentile, what do they say, 1% or something like that? I don't even know if I even believe that, but if you can somehow become a part of this 1% or whatever it is that makes it out of these environments, and you turn around and you look at look at it and you can actually see it for what it is. Sober, with a clear mind. You know everything that you went through growing up in those environments, what it took to make it out of those environments. You start to be able to see all the different ways in which you were behind the 8 ball. You know what I'm saying? And then you can measure that against a lot of people who are in similar positions, you know, like in close enough proximity to you to where you can hear the way they carrying it. And you hear a lot of just complicit shit. You know, people saying what they think they need to say in order to hold on to some sort of status or some sort of anything that says I'm getting ahead. You know what I mean? So what I'm noticing is a lot of people throwing the environment under the bus.
Yo, I'm sorry we gotta interrupt the conversation really quick, but yo, quick announcement. Head over to theawarebrand.com, check out our merchandise, check out our blog. We got a lot of stuff going on. You get some gems right now in this convo, I know. But check out the website, there's a lot more gems over there, alright? So make sure you stay aware in the streets, alright? Peace.
You know what I mean? Guys spending their whole childhood, they give their whole existence
To the block.
to the block, if that's the option they take, but some of us give it to sports. And we dedicate ourselves to the point where we can play some shit on God level, man. Just to get on the field and they tell you, nah, you can't do that here. You can't do something that's gonna benefit there, here. You know what I mean? And that's telling as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's telling, because it's like you worked your whole life to get yourself in a position to where you can start being the change that you want to see. And they're basically telling you you're not allowed to be the change that you want to see here. And there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and then you see some guys like Kaepernick, you know, like they can't. Some guys just need to look themselves in the mirror at night. Some guys need to be able to do that. Some guys are just like, shit, you know what I mean? I'm here to get this money. You know what I mean? We'll do it another way. Whatever it is, there's a whole lot of things that need to be fixed in these environments. And everybody's sitting around waiting on, I don't know, to fucking fix a situation, gods to just fucking bestow some fixing onto our communities. No, these are created environments. These are these are subjugated, marginalized environments that we were placed in. You know what I mean? So just knowing that within itself, you know that nobody's gonna fix these environments for us, and nobody's gonna fix anything for us.
Not when they created it,
So if we get in a position where there's anything that we can do, then, you know, it's not, at that point, it's like, it should be one of those epiphany moments for you. You know, it shouldn't be like, well, I think I may do something. You know, it shouldn't be a choice anymore. It should be a part of success. Like, you shouldn't feel fulfilled. You shouldn't feel whole, you know, making it away from there and just taking your ball and going home and never looking back. Like, to me, that's void, empty. That's non-fulfillment. You know what I mean? Okay, you got the money, you put your mom in the house, your wife is happy, your children are happy. What about them? You know? I mean, you know, it's not like solely your responsibility, but at some point the thinking has to be, we are each other's responsibility.
It's a village.
Yeah, because I mean, I know we at some point we evolved into these individuals who feel like that we all gotta one up each other and we all are competing against one another, but we're not. We're actually all being treated the same together. You know, that we're together whether we like it or not. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they put the word black on a birth certificate, ID card, you know what I'm saying? As long as they use that to identify you, then that's one thing. That's not such a loaded word. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. You know, so
one of the things I loved about like you in 2020 This is a little loaded, right? Okay. One of the things I love about what you were like, you in 2020 was you really talking to that part. Like you kind of like, I don't know if you pivoted, but you were very intentional about like talking to us about our collective power, right? Like when you talk about how Vlad shouldn't be able to say anything about the minister, you know what I'm saying? And then we just keep on going like everything is normal, right? Like that's one part of it. And then also like LA Leakers, you know, the 100 freestyle, you went crazy on that joint, you know what I mean? You talking about like Anunnaki slave masters and Fibonacci sequences and golden ratio. So I'm like, yo, what was Royce's like mindset in 2020? You know what I mean? Like, what was your mindset like? Was it like, what were you on?
2020. You know what, man? It's been a learn as I go kind of last couple years. The only difference is there's been things that's been happening that's been kind of forcing us to like do things that we wouldn't have probably did so soon. You know what I mean? Like I've learned about so many things that I probably it wouldn't have been on my radar. Like I care about things at 43 that I did not give a fuck about in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? Never thought I would care about. And it's just like
what?
Shit, pretty much everything that I think about on a day-to-day basis, everything from how important it is that we understand the strength that can be us in solidarity.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Like the mountains that we can move, you know what I mean? And then how important it is also that we understand who our true enemies are, you know what I mean? And then also that we understand how important it is that we see ourselves as what we really are. You know what I mean? Like that's a huge problem because, you know, like value, that's a loaded ass word.
Yes.
It's all perspective on that.
If you can't place value on yourself, if your value comes from someone else giving you value, then you're always gonna be undervalued.
Yeah.
And if you're undervalued, then you can always be oppressed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it'd be different if you just was the type of human that that just lays there and just takes some shit. Now you're talking about people who controls the pulse of the world.
Shocking. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the influence is the currency. Period. You know what I mean? Like you can be as rich as you want to, bravo. But if you're not cool, that money is worthless to you around cool people. You know what I'm saying? There's never gonna be a time in the world ever.
That's a fact.
Where cool is not the most cool is the caveat.
Yes, sir.
Women like cool. People like cool. You know what I mean? We love talent, but there's been a lot of talented, fucked up motherfuckers who we forgot about because they just lack that one element. Cool. You know what I mean? So sometimes you can be so cool and you can be so influential, and the things that are magical to others can come so natural to you that you forget that it's value. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's and that would even be okay if it wasn't people following behind you, placing value on everything that is you. Everything. Assume everything about you is worth money. Everything. How you think, how you talk, what you got on, what you driving, all your slang. Everything is worth money. You know what I mean? So it's like if you got other groups of people monetizing that and cornering the market, and then turning around and making demands. That shit is at some point you gotta recognize it as what it is. It's being weaponized against you. And then when you can think that deeply into it and you can see it for what it is, then you start to take it as just that. If it's weaponized against me, then that means that whatever is against me wants to keep me in a certain position. There's a reason why motherfuckers want me here, so I need to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's real easy to just kind of accept, you know, like, that's one of the main elements to just programming, just get niggas to just be accepting.
Yeah.
We just accept shit. I was on Clubhouse the other day and I heard somebody, a kind of influential cat in the music business right now, and he was just on there he was making a good point, but it was just misleading because he was talking about how somebody he was messing with was in a real fucked up deal, and you know, like, but if it wasn't for that deal, he wouldn't be where he's at now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you get into shit, you gotta ask yourself, do you wanna go take a job working 30 an hour? Or do you wanna get in this shit? Because labels and shit, they're gonna spend a certain amount of money, they're gonna want their money back and all that. And it's like, bro, listen.
That doesn't have to be the path though.
Fuck the labels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we are the only ones who play the fence. Nobody's speaking up on your behalf. No, nobody is. You know what I mean? And when did it become a prerequisite for young black boys to get in fucked up deals? The reason why we get in fucked up deals is because we don't understand what we're signing.
Yeah.
It's not because labels are like, yo, we just giving out fucked up deals. They're not giving out fucked up deals to Royce the 5'9".
They're trying to see who's gonna take it.
Well, they don't even have to look. Every nigga without a lawyer, they're gonna be able to give a fucked up deal to. I can't read a fucking contract and just be like, yo, you good, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to like, you have to have an attorney.
Yeah.
You know,
there's language in there that you may not be abreast to.
You have a basic understanding of what you see. I've been around long enough, and I've been in some bad deals. Thank God, none to where it costed me anything. My worst deals, those situations never made any money anyway, so it didn't matter. But I've done enough different kinds of deals to where, and I've kind of seen the way that the pendulum is swinging. So I can pretty much look at labels and analyze them for what they are and what they can offer, and what they can offer me. And I feel like as long as you're able to do that, as long as you know what you are, first of all, how to grow you, and then how to allow them to help you, then it's perfect.
Yeah.
But if you just like we said earlier, just doing shit, signing deals because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do, well, you're gonna go on a trial and error path, and it's gonna be more error than trial, you know. And you're gonna learn from all mistakes, and 9 out of 10 of those people are not gonna make it, are not gonna survive that.
Wow.
And it doesn't have to be like that. All it is an information disconnect. That's it.
Yeah, you hit something on the head. And what I'm understanding from everything what you're saying is, if you lack awareness of who you are, you won't get the independency that you're looking for. Like, because you don't know the value that you uphold. You don't know the value of who you are. And I think that's where we come with this brand. Like, we was inspired because of like the Trayvon Martins, the Eric Gardners and all that. Because I was talking, he was like, yo, this is what be happening to us if we are aware of who we are, our power. Because the oppression or the oppressor would look at us differently because they're like, nah, Royce knows who the fuck he is. Like, I can't even try him. There's not even an inch of me that would try him. And I think like all that what you was saying, like speaking about the artists, like, they're not even aware enough for themselves to either one say, look, I may not know what this contract says. Let me go get a lawyer. You know what I mean? Or I may not even be aware of like, I can do this on my own. All I gotta understand is marketing, the whole DSP situation, getting with a old partner to help me guide through like, fuck the labels, but I could go directly to the magazines. I could go directly here and get this done myself. But it's the lack of awareness of self and the lack of knowing the value and the power that they have. So am I right in the sense of like what you were saying?
Yeah, I mean it's got a lot to do with learning yourself, but you know, that's a loaded one because it's the biggest fuck up to me is not being okay with not knowing things. And this generation just don't want to admit when they don't know something, man. Like, they'll rather argue with you and pretend like they know it than to just learn it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, bro, you don't have to be right all the time, man. I know that the bigger that people elevate in this shit and the bigger celebrities they become, they hit a point where somebody at the corporations just decides that these people have to now appear to be perfect at all times. We got to keep the human moments to a minimum. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as I'm concerned, Beyonce does not fart. She does not fart. She does not eat plates of food.
Right.
She is just perfect.
Yeah.
She's Beyonce. She doesn't hit a bad note. She doesn't have a bad show. She doesn't do things that aren't fucking stellar. Because she's Beyonce, and she's been that way since a child. And that's the way she's been presented to me. And there's a whole lot of truth to that. That's why she's been around for so long. You know what I mean? So like, don't think for 1 second that she didn't get in this shit and make her mistakes too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I always tell the youngins that I mentor, man, like, get in the game and make some mistakes, man.
Early.
Make them. Make them, embrace them. Get them out the way and learn from them.
Yes, sir.
And be okay with them.
Yeah.
You know, like, and don't think that you're here to be famous. It's okay that you think that, because we all thought that. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta listen to, as cliche as the shit sounds coming from certain OGs, you gotta listen to some of the anecdotal sounding advice. You gotta listen to some of it. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker telling me to save my money, they might as well have been talking to a wall.
At that time,
It's just like, say, okay, whatever.
Save my money.
Save my money. Save it, whatever. And that's like, that's a fuck up on the OG's part anyway, because it's just like, it's too broad, man. Like, man, we're black people. We're not like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't come from a family of fucking accountants. You gotta put some perspective on that
like, what does that mean?
shit. What do you mean? Telling me to take it and put it somewhere?
Yeah.
Where you want me to put it at? I could put it on the roof. It
facts.
won't matter. And if you don't show me what to do with the money, I'm gonna need that money at some point, and I'm gonna blow through that money. And since this is the internet era where we're taught to look at all of these analytics that we don't know how to read properly, and we got all of these different ways and reasons to tell ourselves that we failing at something else. We did something wrong. Oh, I don't know how to handle my money. Oh, because it's every 2 seconds it's a new documentary out about how rappers just don't know how to do shit. Rappers, look at all the dumb shit that rappers buy. Look at all the fucking dumb shit white people buy.
Facts.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Well, they just have the, well, some of them have the fundamental financial knowledge that we don't have. Probably.
Some of them don't.
And some of them don't. That's why I said some. I said key
You
word.
know what the difference is?
Yeah.
They share information. It's a cultural thing. It's a cultural. It's a cultural thing that they just naturally do. They don't call it anything.
Yeah.
It's a part of their fabric.
Yeah.
We get surprised by it.
Yeah.
Like when you talk to somebody and they give you like a gem, like, oh shit, he's mad cool, yo.
But that's supposed to be
that should be the
normal.
standard.
Yeah. Because it's funny. I went to Earn Your Leisure's Invest Fest 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, and like that was the first time for me to see like 4,000 brown and black people in one room with notepads and pens, like ready to learn financial literacy. And like, it's 2021. Why are we having something like of this kind for the first time now? You know what I'm saying? But we haven't really, or it hasn't been on a platform this big before. You know what I mean? I've never seen 4,000 people, black people in the room like that. You know, in the learning. So I was like, think like now we get to that point where we are sharing information because we are in the internet age. You know what I'm saying? And it's important. Like, you know, everything you're saying is important, man. So I'm just expounding on, you know.
Well, everything you just said is important because you can, depending on who you talk to, you go on Twitter right now and some black person to tell you, man, we ain't made no progress in all this time.
Yes, that's true.
How we just gonna make progress now?
Yeah.
No, we make progress. You are so incapable of seeing anything good about you and us that you're just incapable of seeing baby steps.
Yeah.
Because you see so much wrong and that needs to be fixed, and you think if you can't take one giant leap and fix everything all in one swoop, that it's impossible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and we always fall back into that thing where it's just like, man, man, you can't go against the white man anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything is not about being opposed to the white man. You know what I'm saying? Like the proverbial white man. It's like, it's cool if you want to have a picture of that thing in your mind to encourage you, to inspire you. But that could be to your detriment too. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people who, when I finished the allegory, bro, to go back to the question you asked me earlier, I finished it. That was my first time learning how to make beats.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
And I didn't plan on making an album. I was just like really just dedicated all my time and effort into just like
Production.
really just trying to learn how to make a beat because it caught me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was able to use my OCD and all my addictive traits.
Yeah. Like it works right here.
To my benefit for a change.
Yeah.
So like I can actually hyper focus on something longer than the average person and won't even know it. People think I'm crazy, you know what I mean? I go into, they call it a zone. I go into a zone where I forget that I'm in here. That's where I like to be at all times when I'm creating. So I just started, I felt like I was, you know how they say put your 10,000 hours in?
Yes, sir.
I started to feel like that I was getting to my 10,000 hours a little faster than 10,000 hours because I was just repetitious with it, you know what I mean? So at that time, I didn't know what I would even rap about. Like, you know what I mean? Like I did Book of Ryan already. It's like shit. I said what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
So it just so happened that I was just like big on taking in information, and I was spending this is another thing, I was spending a lot of time alone. And it was the first time that I realized how important solitude is for me.
Yeah.
I grew up with brothers. So I didn't know that I enjoyed solitude. I actually thought that I didn't. I used to tell people like, nah, I'd rather just be,
around my folks.
Yeah, I'd rather be around my folks. There never really was a time where I was just by myself. Always up under one of my brothers. Always had to share a bed. Somebody was pissing on somebody.
That's facts. Bunk beds.
All that.
So and then becoming a drunk. You know what I'm saying? An alcoholic. That's not a lonely man's sport. They say misery love company. So it's like, if you see somebody drunk and alone, oh man, there's a deep story there. There's a deep story there. You gotta try hard to get there. You know what I mean? That means you made some bad mistakes, and that means some people didn't do right by you too. You know what I mean? There's a telling story behind that, but I'm rambling. So I realized how important solitude was to me, and just everything that I had been reading. I had just finished reading Allegory of the Cave by Plato, but that was because my young dude, B. Jones, he put me up on it. You know what I'm saying? But he brought it up in conversation one time. We were just talking about like the state of things. And we were just talking about the way people just seem programmed. You know what I mean? Like, and they kind of got their minds made up, and they subscribe to a thing already. So that's what they want to believe now. That's what they want to believe, and you're not going to change their mind. So I said all that to say this. So I started working on the album. I started rapping about just the shit that I just was feeling based off of reading, Allegory of the Cave, and just all of the different things that I was just researching and passing. And I played it for my young dog. My young dog comes up here and he listens to all my albums when I'm done. I make it a thing to call him now to get his opinion, because his opinion is always interesting, because I know he's the one who's gonna come in and try to figure out a way to be that guy who goes, see, I ain't just tell you what you want to hear.
You need those around though.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. That's anecdotal regurgitation at its finest. You know what I'm saying? It's another one of those things where it's like it's truth to it, but
you stretch it.
You need honesty.
Yeah, but you do need honesty, bro.
You need honesty, but you have to be experienced. You know what I mean? Like your wisdom has to be there, because people can manipulate you through that.
Facts.
I've had people come around me and pander to that position. You know,
Yeah,
pander
okay.
to being the real one.
Mm.
Oh man, they got you drinking, and you know what I'm saying? Like, man, put that liquor down, man. I got you, man. I ain't about to have you. I ain't about to let you be drinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not about to let me do nothing, nigga. You're not gonna stop me from doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't elevate to certain levels to be handled by people. That's not what this shit is. This is not that. This is not you. You become extremely good at something. You dedicate your time, energy, and you have a gift to use your mind. Whether you are taking for granted that gift or not, it's still a gift nonetheless. And that very gift is what makes it to where you plugged in just a little bit differently to the universe than the regular people. So like the labels see that, and that's what they want. That's what they're signing you for, because they don't have that. They can't place value on that. They can't bottle it up. If they could bottle it up and sell it, they have no need for you. So that's what they're trying to drain you of, your energy. The energy is like diametrically opposed to the numbers. The energy tells a different story from the numbers most of the time. You know what I'm saying? It's completely different, but it's more important than the numbers are. But the numbers is what the labels are gonna use to undervalue you. And that's what they're gonna use to come up with whatever figure that they wanna tell you that you're worth. And it makes total sense to them because it's just math. You know? So like people coming around you and being like, you know, I'm not a yes man. I'm not gonna just tell you everything is dope. Well,
That's
yo,
scary.
you could tell me everything is dope. You could tell me everything is garbage. If I'm doing garbage, I'm gonna get garbage results. If I'm doing great shit, it doesn't matter what you think. So the key is for me to know. If I gotta come to you and make sure you okay with it, then that's the beginning of the end. I don't need nobody's opinion.
Yeah.
So like when I bring my young dog in, I bring him in because I use his opinion as a measuring stick to something in my head that I created in my head. And then I go to somebody else. I go to Keno, who's a totally different type of guy, and look for a certain reaction from him. And then I go to my girl and I look for a certain reaction from her. But none of these reactions matter
In the grand scheme.
if I don't feel it here.
Yes.
What difference does it make?
Yeah.
Switch your chain. You chains on the mic.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. Man, you said a lot because I wanted to go back to.
Oh, wait. I ain't mean to cut you off. I may forget.
Industry.
They're gonna be like, this nigga's crazy, but I didn't get to my point. So I played it for my young dog.
Okay.
And then after I was done, everything went off, I didn't know what he was about to say. This is my first time doing that kind of album. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a reflection of who I am, who I was at that time, who I am right now, but it wasn't all my ideologies. It was also other ideologies that I don't even necessarily adopt, but I felt like it needed to be placed in front of you to get your reaction. It's the first time I've ever done an album looking to start narrative that I felt was imperative, you know? So it was quiet, and then he just was like, word.
That's it.
I was like, what you mean? He's like, that's what you doing? And I was like, yeah. He was like, I was like, what's the matter? He was just like, sure that's what you're doing? And I was like, I'm positive. He was like, why are you doing that? Like, he was like, I don't know about that, man. Like, he was like, how you think your white fans gonna feel about that? And I was like, I didn't think about that. I never thought about my white fans any other albums. What the fuck I'm gonna think about them now for?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
but the better question is, why are you thinking about that? And what are you afraid of? What are you worried about? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
Just feel weird to him. Yeah.
But that's That's fucking telling.
That is telling.
This man is worried and don't even know why. He don't even know what he's worried about, but he was afraid. He was afraid for me. You know what I mean? And it was like a thing where I don't know if it was too much honesty or it was too much being talked about that I guess the powers that be or whatever, their power structure or whatever it would be, it has gone out of their way to let it be known that to show their discomfort with certain things being discussed, especially on certain platforms. And I think he just felt like coming off of Book of Ryan, you know, you had the big Eminem song, you know, you had the T-Pain record.
Yeah.
It's time to go off, you know what I'm saying? Right off into the sunset into Hollywood. I thought I was gonna play him, you know, some shit with Drake on it or something. My thing.
Yeah, there you go.
My bad, man. It's just 19 kilos, man. This shit don't be really feeling like being on the mic like that. This shit got like 80 carats of diamonds in it.
No, you talked about us getting in the zone, connecting to the universe. What are some of your tactics on getting in the zone and like tapping into the universe? Do you meditate? You pray? Like, what are some of your ways of getting into that zone you talk about?
You know what I find with myself, man? Like the less that I do like that, the better off I am with everything. You know, the more I think about how I'm gonna approach doing something that's just a part of it, the more distracted I am.
Damn.
You know, so I find that like in the creative space, anything that you put into your mind that's not directly dealing with whatever's on the floor is a distraction, and it's prolonging something. So everything matters, like who you decide to have as your significant other, what your home situation is like, what your ride situation is like. Do you have a car? You know, like, do you have to go to work tomorrow? Like, what kind of environment are you living in? Do you sell drugs? Do you got to be at the trap house till a certain time? All of this matters because it's more shit to think about. Do you got a side chick? Is she demanding of your time? Are you gonna sit on? Because I used to sit on the phone with mine for 3 hours at the studio, and by the time I got to start writing, to get in the booth, I was wasted.
Yeah.
So I come back the next day and listen to some shit I don't even remember recording from the night before. You know how much time you can kill like that? And while you killing that time, what do you think Kendrick Lamar is doing? Putting you further behind the 8 ball because he wanted more than you. You want to play. You know what I'm saying? You're not here to play. This shit is not a game. This is not a game.
They just talk to me on that one.
So it's just you know, I don't anytime I've ever went in the studio and put something into my head, I need a radio joint, or I need I'm about to make some big shit now. I'm about to make some shit. Ooh, I'm about to put such and such on this. Ooh, I'm cool with such and such now, so I'm about to get that feature. This shit about to take off. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
it derails you a little bit.
All of that shit, man. I mean, I'm not like a fucking guru wizard, but I'm telling you, my theory and my opinion on that is that very way of thinking, those very thoughts are the reasons why those things didn't work. And the only reason. You ever seen Quincy Jones documentary?
Yes.
Where you talking about, you know, intention. Intention. It's like as soon as the intention, because that's what the universe responds to. Intention. So you can present, you know, like we young black men, you know, so our whole life is a journey. It's a journey, and it's like we don't find ourselves until later. You know, it took me until I was at least in my 30s, okay, to arrive at a place. And you have to arrive at a place. You know what I mean? So up until that point where you arrive at a place, you're meeting people and you're presenting to those people your representative.
Yes.
The person who you want them to think you are. Not even to say that you like, I'm gonna be fake today. It's just that we micromanage people's expectations of us. What we think that they want from us, and we try to give them that. And like, that's just the wrong way to approach things. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's a natural thing that we do because we want people to like us. Because we equate that to so many different things that says success and cool and all of the things that we don't want to be associated with. Anything that's not in close proximity to these things.
Yeah.
These are the essentials in life to us. You know what I mean? So us being comfortable in our skin and being comfortable with some people not liking us, none of that registers. You know what I mean? Like somebody being like, yo, I don't fuck with him. We don't want that. That's like taboo.
At all. Yeah.
That's why, you know, that's why it's easy to weaponize against artists when it's like, oh, you don't want to come off as hard to work with. Oh, you make sure you're on time because who you see on your way up, you're gonna see them on your way down. Shut that shit up. Be kind to people. That's what the caveat is. Who the fuck cares who you see on your way up? Listen, man, people are gonna work with people that they see value in working with. It ain't nobody with so much integrity, especially not in this business, to where they see all the value in the world in you, but they refused to work with you because some shit 10 years ago, you were late to a meeting. Man, what the fuck, please.
Yeah.
It's all, you know, it's just, you know, don't get too beside yourself. You're starting to sound a little bit arrogant. You know what I'm saying? Well, you starting to sound a little bit controlling. You know what I'm saying? Because I swear, man, I tell my son is a singer. He's in his early 20s. I tell him, be kind, man. Be kind. Be kind, respect others, but be assertive.
Yeah.
Be assertive. Create boundaries. Don't let people cross those boundaries, and don't you ever let anybody dim the shine that is you. There's nothing worse than a genius just coming into his own and just really figuring out his own superpowers, just to get around somebody to have him second guessing shit. You imagine Spider-Man trying to fucking figure out how to get to another building, and he's like, damn, I just shot some fucking web. Something just happened. I don't know. And then there's a distressed cat in the tree, and there's a fucking, the whole fucking town is falling apart because this nigga second guessing some shit. Nah, man.
I think that one of my favorite albums from you, and there's no bias in this, but it's definitely Book of Ryan. And I think that why is my favorite album because of the vulnerability. I mean, you talked about the addiction. You talked about you talked about family dysfunction. You just pretty much laid it all out there. Like, what kind of like gave you like the feeling of saying like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put everything out on this project?
I don't know, it probably sounded like that, but I didn't necessarily arrive at that place where it was just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't one of those things, because when you say fuck it, it kind of implies that I could have been did this, but I'm just gonna do it now.
I don't mean it like that. I mean,
I know what you're saying, but I think a lot of people just when we look at artists and we listen to artists, that's one of the things that's fun about following art. You know, we get to draw our own conclusions. We get to come to our own sort of like, place in our minds about, whatever, based off of, the information that they're giving us. So very rarely will an artist say some shit like, man, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like I tried. I tried, and early on when I got my first deal, I didn't know what my story was, because all of the main points that I would touch on, that I could think to touch on, I wouldn't even think of those things, because I automatically thought past those things, because I told myself people wouldn't be interested in that. So I'm looking for things that coincides a little bit more with what's out there. And I wasn't a drug dealer. I didn't grow up a drug dealer. I didn't grow up doing a whole bunch of shit where I could say, yo, I was a street nigga and I was trapping out of apartment 4B and you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have that story. So I think that's where I just started kind of like going to my comfort zone a lot, which is, you know, MC, rapping about how good I can rap because
amazing.
I came into myself as an artist at the open mics. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I found my confidence at. So that was my first love. I can always go to that place, you know what I'm saying? But when you get into the game, you get a deal and shit like that, you quickly start to realize how quickly the novelty of being able to do that wears off. And in all the many different layers of artistry that you have no idea about that you need to learn. You know what I mean? So, I mean, shit, then you start to realize how important it is to know self, knowledge of self.
Yeah. And not to cut you off, but like all the last couple of answers you've been giving me, man, or giving us, it's been around authenticity. It's been around about, and like we talked about the zone. I think being in your authentic self will help you get into that flow.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of getting that. So not to cut you off, but I just wanted to just get that out there because I think the authenticity is a key takeaway from this conversation. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think it's also possible, like as a young artist, to feel like you're being authentic. You know, like it's I was always being my authentic self, but I went a long time because I feel like as creators we can set traps for ourselves, creative traps for ourselves. So if something works one time and we like the way that feels, and then something else doesn't work, and we go back to that other thing, and we'll just keep going back to it because we just, you know, we just want to do good, man. We just want to feel like we're doing good. You know what I mean? So, but we know somewhere deep down, it's like, man, there's other layers, you know, that I'm not giving. You know, so after a certain amount of time, you know, you start to get shit like, hey man, you way cooler in person than I thought you would be, man. Man, I thought
you actually are.
I thought you would just be mad all the time, man. Or damn man, I thought you'd just be sitting around just rapping. Deciphering all the time.
Or going off with niggas on Instagram.
Yeah, rap. That's what I thought you did. It's just like people can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So I mean, if you can be as guarded as you feel, it's your right, you know. But I think it would be a little bit more self-serving for you to express as much of you as you feel comfortable expressing, because the more that you give people, the more that they'll have to take away from listening to just, you know, you telling me how good you can rap. It's only but so many different ways you can give me that, you know, especially if the first time I heard you made me go, ooh, that's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because now you compete with yourself.
First time. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it can go, ooh, then, okay, I'm rocking with him. Oh, he did it again, okay. Okay, I'm fucking with him now. This is my guy now. This is my guy now. All right, now you got him paying attention. Now what? Who are you?
Yeah.
Because I think every creator needs at least one self-defining album. Without that, how can you build anything? What are you building? So if you don't give me a self-defining album, how do I know who you are? You know?
That's tough.
And if we sit down, if I sit down at a record label, as authentic as I can feel like I am, maybe I feel like I'm authentic because I be beating niggas up. Maybe the hood I come from tells me that makes me authentic. I beat a nigga up yesterday. I'm as authentic as they come. Roots. And then when we sit down at a record label, you can't tell these motherfuckers who you are. And you know what happens when that happens? You can't tell them, so they're gonna try to tell you who you are. And that's the beginning of the end of that little scenario of your career. Might as well get yourself ready for round two now. That's never gonna end well. Labels don't create us. Labels create pop acts. Pop acts are created. Hip hop acts aren't created. Because hip hop is based off of authenticity.
Yes, sir.
And any hip hop act that's ever been created, they've either been exposed or they came and went. You know, because were made to produce numbers. You know, like we as black men who connected to the culture the way that we are, we were made to produce energy, and the numbers are just a byproduct of that.
Come on.
You can't really control how much.
Come on.
It's just gonna be what it's gonna be. You just gotta try to prep for it.
Yeah.
Because everybody think, you know, we come in, we think we want to be rich, we think we want to be famous. Like, we don't really know if we want to be any of these things until we get the shit. And then we know what's too much and what's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anything where it's been like, yo, I can't wait till I get that because it's gonna be that. Never. It's never that. Never, ever. Everything I thought money was gonna fix didn't fix any of those things, not even close.
It's a bar.
The happiness I thought money was gonna bring didn't bring me any of that. As a matter of fact, it made me more fucked up because I didn't have my shit together. You know, because I was chasing the money and leaving everything else in disarray. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I got the money and my lowest point was the most amount of money that I had ever had. That was my low, my rock bottom.
Wow.
You know, because we also think rock bottom is like laying out on the street, fucking heroin needle in your arm.
Yeah.
Eternally.
Yeah.
It's in here.
Yeah.
So, you know, I tell the youngins, you're here to achieve happiness. That's what you're here to achieve. You get that, everything falls in place. Knowledge of self and happiness. You can get you have all the money you want, you'll be fine. But if you're unhappy with money, the more you get, the more unhappy you're gonna become.
That's a bar. Speaking of who you are, man, so our last couple questions that we have for you. A lot of people don't know you be boxing. A lot of people don't.
Who told you that, man? You gonna get me fucked up.
Hey, I'm gonna watch out. I'm running for my man. He's gonna hit you with a combo you ain't ready for.
Just the way that you say it.
Yeah,
I ain't know you be boxing.
No, you be boxing.
You heard wrong. I don't be boxing.
Be boxing.
I have boxed.
Okay, but like
younger years.
Okay. But you know what I mean? I don't know if you're still training, but you know, you're big on your herbal medicine game. Like, you know what I mean? Last time I met up with you, you know, he was on Styles P Herbs. Big shout out to him.
Of course.
Like, when did that awakening start? When he's like, you know, I need to take care of my body.
I've always been that way. It's just you know, alcohol lets you know, you throw all your inhibitions out the window. You know what I mean? But I was one of them guys, like, I could stop drinking for 6 months and just get in tip-top shape. I mean, I think that's one of the things that kind of prolonged my whole alcohol career, because it was like, that was one of the things that made me feel like I can control it, because I was able to do shit like that. You know, because the picture in my mind of what alcoholic was just somebody who was just out of control, fucking couldn't control when he drank. If I stop for 6 months, whenever, you know, I must be good, I can stop. I didn't take into consideration that when I start, I can't stop. I cannot drink. But if once I have that one,
get that one.
I don't even understand how somebody can just drink one drink. Alcohol is the greatest magic trick that the devil has ever conjured. It's by far the worst shit ever that this world has ever seen. The worst. Worse than heroin, fentanyl, coke. Start naming some stuff with me. Come on. Let's have a name and shit.
Like bite, whatever, all that shit. Yeah.
It's the worst shit ever, because it's not just because of the destruction that we see, but it's capabilities. Because of the way that it's presented in our society. It was a time where it was illegal. It's legal. Not only is it legal, but it's made to look cool, like, bro. You watch TV, man. Watch TV, man. James Dean smoking a cigarette with his leather jacket on. He's the coolest motherfucker in the world. He make you want a cigarette. You know what I'm saying?
It works for you though.
Everybody has like a little drink in their hand. Everybody dressed all nice with their suits and having a good time. And it looks like it's just a part of, you know, social networking. You know, it looks like it's just a part of, you know, communicating and just hanging out, congregating. It's a part of it. But bruh, if you got 20 people in a room, 17 of those people, and this is just my own estimation, what do I know? 17 of those people are not gonna be driving home under that alcohol limit. Because you basically have to be a responsible drinker, and I've only met a few of those in my life. My wife was one of them. I didn't understand it. She just drank one drink, maybe two, and be like, I'm good. I'm having fun. Like, how? You stop drinking. How the fuck did you be having fun?
Right.
You know, so man, it's I know people who got DUIs who were just a little bit over the limit and who didn't feel drunk. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then I know people who were like I used to get so fucked up. Oh, that's another thing about liquor too. It makes you think shit is good. It's not like, you know, you just be laying out like I'm too fucked up, man. Alcohol actually makes you, fuck that. I can drive. Give me my keys. I'm gonna fight you for my keys. I'm gonna fight you for my keys and I'm gonna speed home.
I don't like them type of drunks. I actually had a couple friend like that before. I'm like, he almost killed me.
Man, he ain't no special kind of drunk. He just drunk. You know what I'm saying? He just drunk, man.
Got this, bro.
You get there sooner or later.
Yeah.
And it's just par for the course. You believe there's such thing as a perfect verse? Think that's possible?
I'm trying to think of a perfect verse before I answer. I want to say if a perfect verse is like everything fitting together perfectly, maybe so.
Yeah, because I think at some point it just gets subjective if we invite too many people into the conversation. But I feel like there are verses out there that if you changed anything about the verse, it will fuck the whole song up. That's how important. That's how important the verse is to the song, and it could be how much is embedded into our brains. But I think if something is not a perfect verse, then it doesn't get embedded into our brain.
Ooh,
like G Thing, Dr. Dre G Thing verse. It's perfect, man. It's perfect. If you add one,
so we can get back into the drink.
So, but the inflection might move into that inflection of words.
Everything. Like the way you breathe, the pauses.
Said it different.
Right. Yeah.
I've heard reference vocals to some songs, or I've heard versions of songs where the artists, before they recut their vocals, and then with the version that they cut just to lay it down, and it's like, damn, if he hadn't recut that and just put a little bit more of whatever into it, then the song wouldn't have even been.
I know what you're talking about.
Probably even hit your radar.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even felt it the same.
Yeah. I think part of it is we're hardwired to. There's like neurological pathways for beauty. You know what I mean? And beauty is like symmetry, if you will, right? Like when you look at somebody, you say, "Oh, yo, she's beautiful," or "He's beautiful." It's because their face is like symmetrical. You know what I mean? So like that's why I say if the perfect verse is like things fitting together, like Tetris in a kind of way. You know what I mean?
I think that's how you look at words. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's how you look at words and how you put it together. It's like Tetris almost.
So if it fits,
to me,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't think beauty is as taught as we think, and especially not music. Nobody can teach, like, bro. Listen, man. I seen my baby before my child could talk, like their reaction
to a certain joint,
to certain things.
Yeah.
Like single ladies video would come on, and my child would be in a trance. Y'all ever heard the Frozen song?
Oh yeah,
my daughter is 6.
Of course.
Yo, that's like Satan worship, bro. That's like witchcraft, bro. That's nothing less than witchcraft. You can't tell me. You can't tell me that lady can't go on tour and fill every arena
she's doing it
in this world.
In every country. Yo, the way his daughter goes crazy. Over Elsa. Yes, I don't know how even know the name.
It's not just your daughter, it's all girls. All of them.
Yeah. There's something in there.
You think it's something in there?
It's something. It's just something about the notes. Something. I mean, I know it's a catchy song. I mean, I found myself singing it. Let it go. But it's just like, it's something, bro.
Yeah.
I think Thriller is like that. Lady of My Life.
Oh, Lady of My Life is one of my favorite songs ever.
It's everybody's favorite song.
Lay your body close to mine. Mike went crazy. Like, it's the sound though.
I heard a rumor about that, but I don't know.
Oh shit.
I don't know if I want to share.
We on camera right now. We can go back to it. I don't know what Derek gonna do with this footage, man. You know what I'm saying?
Shit blew me away though.
No, whoa, shit. Oh, I gotta hear this room happen. But anyway, let's get to the last question.
Yeah. So, what are 3 things you think everybody should be aware of?
Self, surroundings,
Mm-hmm.
and coming changes. That is the world as it comes. All of the pivots. Like even if you just look at like the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
it's a huge pivot.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And anybody who didn't make some sort of pivot in life
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to just kind of line up with that something so, it's such a drastic pivot that it's like anybody coming out of it the same way that they went into it
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
gotta be off. Something's gotta be wrong. Like it's no way you make it out of that. It just doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think just seeing just kind of like being able to see. You don't have to be like a psychic, but like the things that are coming once they're coming. Like when you can, if you smell death around the corner, be able to make your adjustments.
Yeah.
And I think that just comes from being self-aware and aware of your surroundings.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you read a lot?
Nah,
No. Okay.
not as much as you would think. A lot of people think I read like a lot. I would prefer an audiobook, man. I'm
Got you.
really lazy.
Yeah.
But where do you get all the information from? Because you just be dropping so much, bro. This is like YouTube videos, is like audiobooks, like you say. Like,
Conversation.
where you get these downloads from?
It's just in my head, man. It's the ancestors.
Mm.
I'm serious. I'm serious. Man.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just
special though.
It's just wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
You got knowledge, you got information,
So.
you got intellect,
So.
you got all of these different things that are associated with intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
But wisdom, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. That's like, because that's the one where you ever seen somebody who's like street smart versus somebody who's like a pseudo intellectual or bookworm or academic, and that person is brainwashed, programmed by the American curriculum, academic curriculum, and they develop this quote unquote arrogance. I don't like to use that word, but they develop this arrogance where they look down on people who aren't as book smart as they are. But all of those things that they learn in these books, like they hang their hat on everything that is information that they received from somewhere where somebody wrote something down, and they have very little experience from being in the element. There's no way of learning more pertinent than being in the element. It's like being a boxer and never sparring. You can I can hit all the bags. I can look incredible on the mitts.
You get touched one
I
time.
can look like Floyd Mayweather on the mitts if I do that shit for a year straight. But I get in there and get my ass whooped if I never got in there and experienced contact. Like if I didn't get used to contact, how to absorb contact. If I never crushed nothing before, I ain't about to just start crushing shit now. And then if I gotta learn that shit right on my toes in that moment, it's not gonna go well. Experience, man. You know what I mean? So you kind of shelter away from things when you go into these academic environments. But I'm not like one of those guys just like, no, don't go to college. I'm not that guy.
Yeah, that balances some kind of way.
Information is good. It's all perspective though.
Experience is key.
That's a fact.
I love that.
Yeah.
Man, so we're about to wrap this up, but like anything you want to leave the good people with our audience with, anything you got coming, some new music, got any new music coming, anything like what we working on, what's going on?
Yo, if y'all don't mind, I want to just kick a couple bars. Yo, check it out.
Shit. Oh shit.
Yo, check it out. Yo, I know you be thinking I be rapping all the time. yo, that shit just be on my mind when I rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of people be thinking that I be rhyming simple because when I used to be out on the block, my girl had dimples.
Mm-hmm. Bars.
You know what I'm saying? That's bars.
That's hard.
I don't want to do too much. I don't want that stealing my shit.
Mm-hmm.
They do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to approve this before it go out now.
Yeah. All right, got you. Yo, listen, y'all. We have my man Royce the It was a pleasure having you.
It was, man.
Much love,
man.
yeah.
For real, man.
Appreciate y'all, man.
I think the key takeaways from this was, man, was stay authentic, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But most importantly, stay aware. So, again, you're here with Are You Aware Conversations with my guy Royce the 5'9", my brother Rich here. I'm True. Man, we'll see y'all soon, man.